Hello dear students, myself Sumangla Biradar. In last video we already discussed about database users. Now in this video we'll focus on advantages of using the database approach, history of database applications and when not to use a DBMS. First we'll see advantages of using the database approach. In this, first advantage is controlling redundancy. First I'll tell what actually redundancy means. Redundancy means duplicate copies, maintaining the same records multiple times. So if you are maintained, so those records we call as a redundant of previous record here. So now here I told that is controlling redundancy is one of the advantage of database approach. How it is advantage? I'll explain now. So instead of storing the same records multiple times, if I store the single record of the data, then I can utilize this storage space to store the further records here. So this one I can utilize to store for further records here. So then I can save the storage space here. In this way it provides the storage space to store for the further records. That's why controlling redundancy is the advantage here. Next, one more advantage is here, that is, for example, I'll take the example of student records of yours only. Assume that SEM is one of the data and this data I maintained multiple times. So now you already promoted as a what? Fifth semester now. So I forgot to update that record in this one, but I updated that record SEM data as a 5 here. See here in this record it shows as a SEM as a 4 and in this record it shows SEM as a 5 here. So this is the not the correct way of storing the database here. This type of the problem actually we call as inconsistent. To prevent from this type of the problem also we can control the redundancy. Instead of maintaining the multiple records, if I maintained only single record, then that updated informations were available here. So I can resolve that inconsistency problem here. So this is why we go for controlling redundancy here. So this is the one of the advantage. Next is restricting unauthorized access to data here. Yes, it doesn't allow all the users to access all the data whatever it is stored in the disk here. So this is for which purpose? To provide the security here. Only authorized user has the authority to access this data here and that authority is verified by whom? It is verified by database administrator. Even for accessing the data also based on privileges it allowed to access. If you are having the read privilege, then that authorized user have the authority to just to view the data or records. So if you have both read and write authorities, such type of the user have the authority to view and also update the records here. Okay, that is what restricting the unauthorized access to data to prevent from or to provide the security for your data. You are following this advantage here. Next is providing persistent storage for program objects here. So persistent storage, I'll take the example of data structure. So you know that creating the class and creating the complex data structure is the very difficult one. Once if you create and for those data structure and for those class definition, what are the values you assign for the objects and what are the values you are assigned for the variables, those values are what? It is stored temporarily. Once if you are close that particular program, your values are erased here. So now if you want those values permanently, one solution is there. You can store those values in a file. Okay, whenever you want the same values of the variables or same values of the objects in your program, you have to access those values from the file. For accessing the information, variable values and object values, what are the procedure you require is what? It is very little bit complicated here. So instead of doing that, in DBMS facilities available here. What is that facility? What are the objects you are having and what are the data structure you are having? For that, what are the values you will store no or assign no? Those values in database or in DBMS, it stores persistently. Permanently it stores those values, and for the program, whenever they want to access, easily they can access the data from the DBMS here. That is the one of the advantage of using database approach. Next is providing storage structures for efficient query processing. So what are the data it is stored? As you already know that data is stored in the database, in the disk here. So if you want to access that data, what are the procedure you have to follow? First, user has to raise the queries, okay, and those queries are processed by software, DBMS software. So now after processing that, you can access the data from the storage device. Okay, this is the procedure you have to follow here. For accessing that or for following this procedure, it may take more time here. So now to reduce the time to fastly access the or retrieve the data, if you follow the storage structures, okay, tree like structure, hash, okay, like structure, if you follow no, then you can easily access the data, okay, from the database here. So that facility is also available in DBMS. Next one is providing backup and recovery service. So now as we know that all the data are stored in the system. If the system crashes, what will happen? So if the system crashes, then you lose all the data. What are the data it is stored in this particular system? So now here in DBMS, it provides the backup facility. So if your system crashes, then temporarily it stores the data in a log. Okay, so this is the temporary storage device. So whenever your system crashes, then okay, it stores all the data in the log. So when it recovers, the system when it recovers, then you can copy the data from the log and you can get all the services back here. Yes, that facility is available in database approach. Next is providing multiple interfaces to different classes of users. You already know that different types of the users are there in the database. So that to be for end users. So first type of the end users are casual end users. What is the work of casual end user? Just they can view the data or records. To view or to access those records, they can know only one language as an interface, that is the query language interfaces must be known by this casual end user just to ask the queries. Which type of the data casual end user want to view, that one they have to specify in the form of the query. For that, they must be know with the or familiar with the query language interfaces. Next type of the users are parametric end users. As I already told that parametric end users have the authority to access or just view the data, or they can also update the records here. So for that purpose, to create the database, they are accessing the user informations in the form of the forms here. This is for creating the new database. And to delete or update, they are using the commands here. With the help of the forms and commands, they can insert the new record to the database, or they can delete or update the data, okay, from the database here. So for that, yes, which interface they require here? Forms and command based interfaces for parametric end user. Next is standalone end user. As I told earlier, standalone end users work is what? They can develop their own database using readily available packages. Those packages they may get with the help of the menu driven or natural language interfaces. These are the two interfaces they can use to create their own database here. Next one is application programmers. For application programmers, they must use the programming languages as a interfaces. Based on the types of the user, different types of the interfaces are available in database. Next one, representing complex relationships among data. I'll take the simple example of our college only. So now if I take the same student record, wherever you require the same student record, in office also you want a student record, in department also you want a student record, and also in the library also you want a student record here. So then same record must be you require in the office and in the department and in the library. Then you have to represent some relationship between these three database here. So that representing complex relationships among the data is also one of the easiest task in the database approach. Next is enforcing integrity constraint. I'll take the example as your USN number. Constraints means condition. So you are enforce the condition for the your data. Yes, for that also easily you can enforce the condition. Yes, what is the condition for USN number? Yes, USN number must be unique here. Yes, that one actually we call as a key constant. Easily with the help of the primary key, you can enforce this integrity constant here. In the same way, other number. So other number must be unique here. So to specify this constant easily with the help of the primary key, you can enforce the integrity constants here. That facility is available in database approach. Next is permitting inferencing and actions using rules. So now I'll take the one example that is providing for any organization. If you go for any companies, if you go, there is some specific rules are there. So I'll take the example of our college only. If you want to take admission for BE, what is the age restriction? Yes, age restriction must be above 18 years. So this is the one rule here. If I go for the company, if I compare the salary of the employer and employee. Employee's salary must be lesser than employer's salary. This is the general conditions. So these are the things only we call as a rules here. So now here you have to set up the standard rules here. So those rules only we call as a stored procedures. So you have to enforce those rules here. After enforcing those rules, if anyone not follow those rules, then you have to take some action here. That action only we call as a triggers. So what is the work of triggers? It provides active rules that can automatically initiate an action when certain events or condition occurs here. Okay. So this is about the advantages of using the database approach. Is it clear? Okay. Next, along with those advantages, you are also having some additional implications of using DB approach. First one is potential for enforcing standards. Here you have to follow some standards to create the database. Yes, that is also it enforces to follow to create the database and the data here. Next, reduced application development time. So for example, I'll take the example as for the same data if you want for the multiple application. So in that situation, instead of developing the same database multiple times, only once you create the database, and same database it may be shared by the both the application here. If application 1 and application 2, these are the two different application, but both application want the same database here. Instead of developing the same or creating the same database by application 1 and application 2, you create the database only once and same database that application 1 and then application 2 can share here. If it shares, then automatically it reduces what? Your application development time will be reduced here. Flexibility to change data structure. So yes, you can update based on the evolution in the system. So if you want to make any changes at any time, yes, you can make the changes in the data structure. So that facility is also available in database approach here. You can change the definition of the data, structure of the data, constraints of the data, anything at any time. If you want to change, easily you can modify that. Next one is availability of current information. So instead, up-to-date informations are available in database approach. For this one, I'll take simple example of online shopping and airline reservation. So in the online shopping, you may face sometime you like the product and you browse the history of the product and that time that product is available. When you click on to buy the product, you may get, after clicking that buy button, you may get the as a message that is this product is not available. So then thing is what it is, instantly the data may be purchased by another person here and instantly that updation you will get as a message here. In the same way, in the airline reservation, you are trying to reserve for one seat. When you are browsed, that time you get to know that that seat is available. So you are trying to book that particular seat. So before buying that seat, before booking that seat, so after whenever you browse, that time it is available. When you click on that buy and before payment, so you may sometimes get the messages that book is that that seat is already booked here. So that is the effect of this availability of current information. Next one is economies of scale here. Economies of scale, I'll take our college itself. Same student records I want in office and also I want in department and also I want in the library. So instead of using the or purchasing the data system separately for office and for database department and for the library, only once you purchase the database and same database system can be used by the office and also by the department and the library. In this way, your economy of the scale is also reduced here. Yes, these are the advantages of using the database approach. Is it clear now? Okay, thank you.